fans, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and I have the second half to a two-car giveaway, and it's all about that American icon. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this car right here. This is a 2025 Ford Mustang GT. This, of course, is the 60th Anniversary Edition. But before we get into this Wimbledon white drop top of a Mustang, let's talk about what's going on here. So if you haven't seen the review of my Wimbledon white 1966 Mustang GT that I did here at Dream Giveaway Garage, I'll leave it at the end of this review. It's basically a twofer. One win gets you two American icons. Now, with this special edition, it's one of just 1,965 examples that Ford is making for 2025. And of course, it goes all the way back to 1965. That is the first model year, even though most Mustang super fans say it's 1964 and a half. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a drop top muscle car, there's really no other brand new ones to buy. So should you go look for a pre-owned Camaro convertible? Or maybe be the first to have a custom convertible Dodge Charger? Interesting take. But why don't we go ahead, let's dive into this 60th anniversary and see if we could answer these questions. Right off the bat, it's just got that classic look. Even though it's 60 years later, even though the car is larger than the 1966 Mustang GT that we reviewed here on Rady's Rides, it still has the overall look and style. Now, the front of the business on the S650 platform, you have that full redesign, of course. The tri-bar lights are now across the top of the headlight housing, all LED, blacked out interior. I like the way they did that. And then on your standard Mustang GT, which this is based off of, you do have the fake vents. Sad that there is a day where a GT has fake vents, but there they are. But my favorite part is the Wimbledon white. It's a nice creamy white. You'll see on that 66, it looks really good, and on this one, it looks really good. Now, as we come across that front grille area, what do we got going on? That classic Mustang badge. I like the way they did it in almost this aluminum style trim to make it look like the chrome pony on a classic first gen Mustang, which, remember, first gen, like I said, 1964 and a half technically, but this is celebrating the official start, which is 1965, and the one that I have at the end of this review is a 66. But you have your same grille design. So this grille is unique to the 60th Anniversary Edition with the aluminum looking pony. And then you'll have the metallic silver around the twin air inlets that are sort of like the nostrils of the horse. And that's meant to kind of blend it in with the past, the original Mustang. A little bit of gloss black, and then the same grille design in flat black. On the lower portion, I always like the way they incorporate the splitter into the actual front fascia, and you got a little bit of flat black with the body color. But let me know what you think about how they styled this 60th Anniversary Edition, if you like it. Now, as we rise up, you got your GT heat extractor, fully functional, nice bulge. What I would have done, think about this. You see how you have that red stripe on the side? What about this? Have two red stripes on both sides of the bulge as it rises up. From this part right here, this point, and then have the vinyl come down the side toward the edge and give it maybe like a 5.0 or 60th anniversary or whatever the hell you want it to say. I think that would have just added a little bit more pizzazz. Come around the bend, you're gonna find wheels that are specific to the 60th Anniversary Edition. So large machined aluminum portions, the flat metallic gray finish, and then you have the flat powder coated finish on those 6-piston Brembo calipers with the Mustang badging. But like I said, this wheel, especially with that machined outer edge is meant to sort of mimic the design of the original Mustang wheels. Of course, when you're looking at the wheel size, much larger than the past. So what do we have going on with this wheel size? So this particular wheel is a 20-inch wheel. So 265 on the width, 35 series sidewall. Let me know what you think about the wheel with our particular paint job. Coming down the side, you got your 5.0 badge, but the way they did it was exactly how they did the GT badges on the side of those early 60s Mustangs. So it's actually color and then an acrylic poured over it. Really nice touch. Even the way they shaped it was meant to look like the old school badges. Now, for whatever reason, a Mustang just looks so good with its top down. It's almost like it was meant to be. So you have your Wimbledon white around the windshield frame, on your mirror caps, and then you have that carmine red side stripe that says 60 years. Like I said, 60th Anniversary Edition with your flat black side sill extension. And I'm digging the two-tone interior. The red with the black matches so nicely. Coming towards the rear, you got squared setup, 265 on the width. The one thing on a GT, just to point out, is that you don't get Brembos on the rear. You have to go performance pack to get Brembos on the rear. Now, one thing I'm not a big fan of is I wish they had like a tonneau cover over the cloth top. But I guess if you're going for that classic drop top look, the exposed cloth top is where it's at. And then real simple on the back, no trunklet spoiler, because they didn't have a trunklet spoiler on a 66 Mustang. You got your tri-bar taillights. There's that GT 60 years badge looking good. And then working our way down, we have our standard style exhaust slash cut, one tip on both sides. If you think about it, that's more like the original rather than the Ford Performance exhaust, which is a quad tip exhaust. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood on this pony and check out its heart. All right, guys, underneath the hood, we do have the struts on both sides. You do have a strut tower brace. The one thing that's missing, look, there's even holes here. Put a freaking 60th anniversary badge on that strut tower brace. But I love the way the engine cover is. Just covers enough, and you get to see those 8 individual intake runners. 2 throttle bodies on this V8. Much different than that 66, which had a carburetor, 4-barrel carburetor. But what do we have? It's a 5-liter V8, 480 horsepower, 480 horsepower, 415 pound-feet of torque. You could get a 6-speed manual or a 10-speed automatic. 0 to 60 with the 10-speed, 3.9 seconds. Quarter mile is going to go by at 12.2 seconds at 116 miles an hour. And the vehicle weighs right around 4,000 pounds. So nice to still see that naturally aspirated V8 power, but that's really where the comparison stops, obviously. These modern Coyote V8s are quad cam engines, overhead cam engines. So that means the cams sit up top, whereas the 66 Mustang that goes with this car has the cam deep within the center of its block. So different interpretation, but still has that same basic foundation. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this V8 and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are in it to win it. Well, at least you're hoping to win it inside this 2025 Mustang GT 60th Anniversary Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is it? Very good question. MSRP base for a 60th Anniversary convertible starts at $58,000. This one ticks the boxes over a little bit above $60,000. But remember, You can win this and that 66 K-Code Mustang GT from Dream Giveaway Garage. But let's see what this 60th anniversary has and if it's worth celebrating. To the door panels. Love the two-tone. That dark red with the black is exquisite. You got some red contrast stitching at the top of the black in the center. Soft armrest and a door pocket that's large enough for 2 Whoppers and a large fry. Now going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch, you have your 60th anniversary badge. This is number 432 out of 1,965 that they're making. More of that nice red stitching. Slide on in, you got your 13.3-inch infotainment system, your B&O premium sound system, heated seats, ventilated seats, dual climate control, and of course, my personal favorite is when you go into your features. So we bring that up, you go into My Mustang, and this is where you could do all the customizing, different modes, the gauge clusters. This one, I think what we gotta do is we gotta do classic, 67, 68. No, it's not a 65, but it's close enough. So very, very cool to have that. And then all the rest is touchscreen. I gotta zonk it because everything is basically in the touchscreen. Throw it into reverse. Backup camera has a nice clear resolution and you have trajectory lines so you can back into that parking spot perfectly at Cars and Coffee. Down below you got a real volume knob, dark red start stop button, your quick easy access buttons, USB-C, USB-A, 12 volt. I'm gonna have to zonk that this does not have wireless charging. But the good news is you can put 8 Twinkies here. This one has the 10-speed automatic. Red stitching is really nice. 2 cup holders. Standard Mustang key fob. It would have been nice to have a 60th anniversary key fob, but you got all the buttons in the back. More of that soft touch, some stitching. Lift it up. You got a 12 volt and you have enough room in there to where you could put, I would say, 4 fudge brownies. Make mine with extra walnuts. And I'm the type of person that when it comes to fudge brownies, I like the ones from the corners of the cooking tray because they get nice, hard, and crunchy and crispy. And a big bottle of fucking, a big bottle, a big bottle of Yoo-Hoo to wash it down. Wow. I guess it happens every now and then, doesn't it? Seats, the two-tone, the stitching, looks great. The problem is it's just power bottom, but you have manual back. And then of course we just take the seats and you can see how they did the back seats very nicely. Everybody gets red seat belts with a stripe. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. But why don't we go ahead, come over here to the business side of things. I want to show you behind the wheel of this special edition Mustang. All right guys, we are behind the business end where you want to be sitting in this Mustang. You got your Mustang badge. This would have been nice on the sill plate if it says 60th anniversary. But it does illuminate at night, which is cool. You do have a decent pedal box, aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle. I just don't know how many times I have to zonk it before they give us an aluminum dead pedal. 3-way memory setting for the seats, but the bizarre thing is, it's just gonna set the bottom, not the back. Who thought of that? Steering wheel, love the 2 different types of leather. Nice flat black on most of the switch gear. You got paddles to go up and down that 10-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then there's those classic gauges from the 60s. Really, really cool to be able to change all that up. But of course, I know you want to go on throttle. I want to go on throttle. But let's show the trunk real quick, and then I'm going to take you for a spin. All right, guys, trunk time. I did it on the 66. We got to do it on the 2025. Lift it up. You got 14 cubic feet of space, plenty of room. Seats fold down. More trunk space, of course, than the 66. Let's see if there's a spare. You do get the subwoofer for the B&O sound system. No 8-track, remember, in this one. No spare, though. You do get a can of flat fix and an electric air compressor. And you get some goodies, though, because this is the 60th anniversary. You have some nice roadside assistance bags. You got the special Band-Aids and the first aid kit with the little pony on it, a little Mustang, and also images of Henry Ford, the first and second on those Band-Aids. But why don't we go ahead? I'm not worried about cutting myself. I'm worried about going on throttle. let's go ahead, hop in, and get to it. All right, guys, we got the top down. I put the side windows up just to kind of, so you could hear me a little bit more when we're going on throttle. The Mustang is in track mode, which is nice because it shuts off all of the traction control nannies and everything. But we got to start off with a little bit of on throttle from a dead stop. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's celebrate 60 years. And instead of blowing out the candles and getting rid of the smoke, let's make some smoke. On throttle, here we go, yeah! Happy birthday! So really nice, very usable power. That naturally aspirated V8, which has a red line of 7,500 RPM, really pulls super clean through the torque range. And as I demonstrated, it is possible to do a burnout in a Mustang and not loop it. So it's not the Mustangs that have the problem, it's the owners that have the problem, that crash them at your local cars and coffee events. So don't blame Mustangs, blame the stupid owner that's behind it. There are owners of Mustangs that have no problem. But with the 10-speed automatic, shifts are very quick. That's going to give you the fastest 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and take the shift lever, put it on M, and now I'm able to use the paddles that are behind the wheel. You got a nice gear indicator, lets you know exactly what gear you're in. And what's great about the windshield frame, it's nice and high and up to where you're not getting all this turbulence, but you're still getting your open air experience. You ready? On throttle, here we go! Nice, nice. Now, of course, this car just has the standard suspension. It's not magnetized suspension. Still, for an overall, every kind of different way tuned suspension, it does a good job. On throttle! Fast shifts when you're using the paddles, whether you're going up the gears or down the gears. And even though we don't have Brembos at all four corners, you still got some decent braking capability. Let's see how she handles. Nice. All the way through the rev range. Not too shabby. I mean, there's a little bit of float mid-corner, but it's one of those things that it's all forgiving and very controllable. So that's the good news. If you have the skill, she's gonna dance just fine with you. She's not a super lightweight like the 66 Mustang, but she's still able to dance. On throttle! But it holds a line really, really well around these long corners. And even with the standard exhaust, it's got a good sound. I would prefer, though, the Ford Performance exhaust. Let's just be real. Or you could get a plethora of aftermarket brands that'll really let this V8 sing. But having that top down just raises the fun factor by 20. There's just something about a convertible Mustang. It's really an American icon. Stop on a dime, give everybody some change. There you go. That's how you do it, guys. Why is that so difficult? You kick the back end out and you just carry it. You don't have to fight it and take your foot off the gas, and then that's what causes all these problems. But you gotta know what you're doing, so maybe stick with a Ford Taurus first and then step up to a Mustang. I put it back in automatic mode, let the Mustang do its own shifting. But even at cruising, I mean, I'm not even, normally I yell anyway, so I'm just loud, but I'm not having to yell extra high because the top's down. This is probably one of the few cars when you have a convertible top down where there's not a bunch of turbulence. Just enough airflow. I got the AC blowing so it keeps me nice and cool. It just feels good. Smooth shifts though from the 10-speed. It's a great car. I mean, overall, it's a great car. And hey, like I said, you're not buying any other car, Camaro, Challenger, Charger, that's new, that's a convertible. They don't make them. So there you go. But when you compare this to other performance cars, maybe like an AMG Mercedes convertible or something like that, I feel like these are more fun. They're more fun. Yeah, maybe the leather isn't as fancy and all that. You don't have the Mercedes name to brag to all your friends about, but it's just about the driving experience, and that's what I love about this. We gotta do one more, right? It's the Mustang's birthday, man. Come on. 60 years? I hope I look as good as this car does when I'm 60 years old. You ready? You know it. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. I'll see you in a Mustang minute. All right, guys, another hot day, but you know what? There's nothing like putting the top down on a sunny Florida day with this Mustang GT 60th Anniversary Edition. Let me know what you think. Is this the ultimate performance V8 powered car that is a drop top? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. Remember, we got to thank everybody at Dream Giveaway Garage. Lori, Ryan, Chris, because you win this one and you win that 66 K-Code Mustang GT. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this particular one. Watch my review of the 66. And if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give up to Stephen Flood. He's sweating to the oldies out here. So thank you, Stephen, for doing the business. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.